There's something your dog does almost every single day, and chances are you've been misunderstanding it for years. Usually, it happens when you're busy, distracted, or about to leave the room. They stare at you, gently touch you with their paw, follow you down the hallway, or quietly sit nearby without making a sound. Most people think these are just cute little habits. But the truth is, your dog has never stopped trying to talk to you. They don't have words like we do. They can't tell you when they miss you, need you, or love you more than anything in their world. So instead, they use their eyes, their body, their movements, and even silence to send messages every single day. And the saddest part? Most of those messages go completely unnoticed. Today, you're finally going to understand what your dog has been trying to tell you all along. Dogs may not speak human language, but they are communicating with you constantly. Every stare, every stretch, every tiny movement has meaning behind it. The problem is not that dogs fail to communicate. The problem is that most people were never taught how to listen. Your dog studies you every single day. They learn your routines, your emotions, even the sound of your footsteps before you enter a room. And in return, they try to tell you things too. Sometimes they're asking for comfort. Sometimes they're expressing trust. Sometimes they're simply saying, "I feel safe when you're here." Animal behavior experts have spent years studying canine communication, and what they discovered is incredible. Dogs don't just react instinctively. Many of their behaviors are intentional emotional signals directed specifically at humans, and once you begin to recognize those signals, something changes. You stop seeing your dog as just a pet. You start realizing there's an entire silent conversation happening between the two of you every day. You've probably seen your dog do this hundreds of times. You're sitting on the couch, standing in the kitchen, or walking through the house, and suddenly your dog steps in front of you and stretches. Front legs extended forward, chest low to the ground, tail slightly raised behind them. Most people smile and think, "Oh, they're just waking up," but that stretch is actually one of the clearest messages in canine body language. Behavior experts call it a play bow, and dogs use it intentionally to communicate. When your dog stretches like this while looking directly at you, they're not just loosening their muscles. They're making an invitation. Come interact with me. Come into my world for a moment, and sometimes the meaning goes even deeper. A slow, relaxed stretch near you can also signal emotional safety. Dogs only fully relax their body when they feel secure in their environment. In other words, your presence makes them feel safe enough to let their guard down completely. Then there's the stare. That quiet moment when you suddenly realize your dog has been watching you the entire time, not barking, not moving, just looking at you with soft, steady eyes. And strangely enough, it can feel incredibly emotional without you even understanding why. Scientists discovered something fascinating about this behavior. When dogs and humans make gentle eye contact, both brains release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone connected to love between parents and children. Your dog isn't simply staring because they're curious, they're bonding with you. To your dog, looking at you feels comforting, safe, familiar. It strengthens the emotional connection they have with you every single time it happens. But there's another version of this stare too. Sometimes it becomes focused and intense, especially around food, toys, or walks. In those moments, your dog is trying to communicate a request. They've learned that looking directly at you gets your attention. And honestly, they're usually right. Sometimes your dog doesn't just look at you, they try to lead you somewhere. They walk a few steps, stop, turn around, and wait for you to follow. If you don't move, they do it again. Most owners think it's random behavior, but it's actually one of the smartest forms of communication dogs use. Your dog already knows the layout of your home. They know where the leash is kept, where the food bowl sits, where the door is, and where things feel safe or unsafe. So when they guide you somewhere, they usually have a very specific reason. Maybe their water bowl is empty, maybe they need to go outside, or maybe something in the environment is making them nervous. Researchers studying canine behavior discovered that dogs will repeatedly try different methods to direct human attention until the person understands them. That means when your dog comes to get you, they're not being dramatic. They genuinely believe you can help solve the problem. One of the sweetest things a dog can do is walk over and place a toy at your feet. Sometimes it's a ball, sometimes it's a stuffed animal they carry everywhere, and sometimes it's something completely random they somehow decided belongs to you now, Most people assume it simply means, play with me. And often, that's true. Dogs commonly use objects to invite interaction with the people they trust most. But sometimes it means something deeper. When your dog brings you their favorite toy, especially one they normally guard closely, they're showing trust. In the animal world, sharing a valued possession is a huge emotional gesture. Your dog is offering you something important to them because, in their mind, you are important too. Some dogs even appear proud when they bring objects over, almost like they're presenting an achievement. Look what I found. Look what I brought you. It's not just play. It's connection, trust, and affection wrapped into one simple moment. Then there's the gentle paw tap. Maybe your dog places a paw on your leg while you're on your phone. Maybe they keep touching your arm until you finally look at them. It seems small, almost insignificant, but emotionally, this behavior means a lot more than most people realize. In many cases, your dog isn't asking for food or toys. They're asking for you. Behavior experts describe this as attention-seeking contact behavior. Dogs often do it when they feel your focus drifting somewhere else. To them, that soft paw is a way of saying, hey, come back for a second. And if touching you worked before, if you smiled, pet them, or spoke gently afterward, they remember that. Dogs are incredibly good at learning which behaviors create emotional connection. But there's another side to this too. When dogs feel nervous, overwhelmed, or uncertain, they sometimes reach out physically for reassurance. That quiet paw on your leg may simply mean, I just need to know you're here. Sometimes your dog will walk directly between you and another person while you're talking. They sit in the middle, lean against your leg, or gently push their way into the conversation. Most people laugh and say, my dog is jealous, and in a way, they're not completely wrong. Dogs form extremely deep emotional attachments to their humans. So when your attention shifts entirely to someone else, your dog notices immediately. Moving physically between people is often their way of reconnecting to the social bond they feel safest in. But it's not always about attention. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to emotional tension. They can detect changes in tone, body language, and energy long before humans consciously notice them. If a room suddenly feels stressful or uncomfortable, some dogs instinctively move between people as a calming response. It's almost like they're trying to interrupt the tension itself. Your dog may not understand every word you say, but they understand emotion far more deeply than most people realize. Then comes the nose nudge. Not the soft paw this time, but the sudden push of a cold nose against your hand, your arm, or whatever you're holding. It's harder to ignore, more direct, and usually far more urgent. Dogs experience the world primarily through their nose. Their sense of smell is so powerful that it becomes one of their main tools for communication too. So when your dog physically nudges you with their nose, they're escalating the message. I need your attention right now. Sometimes it happens because you missed the earlier signals. Maybe they stared at you first. Maybe they pawed at you. The nose nudge is often the next step after being ignored. Other times, it's emotional. After a stressful moment like thunder, loud noises, or unfamiliar visitors, some dogs gently press their nose against you just to feel contact. Not because they want something physical, but because your presence helps them feel safe again. For your dog, you are comfort they can touch. One of the most adorable things dogs do is tilt their head when you speak to them. You say a familiar word like walk, treat, or their name, and suddenly their head shifts to the side as if they're trying to solve a mystery. And honestly, they kind of are. Scientists believe dogs tilt their heads for two important reasons. First, it helps them hear sounds more clearly by adjusting the position of their ears. Second, it may help them read your facial expressions better, especially your eyes and mouth. In other words, your dog is actively trying to understand you. They're studying your voice, your tone, and your emotions all at once. Researchers have even found that dogs who recognize more human words tend to tilt their heads more often when hearing familiar phrases. That tiny movement may actually be your dog processing information in real time. So the next time your dog tilts their head at you, remember this. They're not just being cute. They're paying close attention to you. Now let's talk about the behavior almost every dog owner knows very well. Being followed everywhere. You stand up and your dog stands up. You walk into another room, and seconds later, they appear beside you again. Sometimes it feels sweet. Sometimes it feels impossible to have privacy. But for your dog, following you is deeply emotional. Dogs evolved to stay close to the members of their social group. In their mind, you are not just someone who feeds them. You are safety, routine, comfort, and stability all combined into one person. For some dogs, following is driven partly by anxiety. Being near you lowers their stress levels and helps them feel secure. But for many others, it's simply attachment. They genuinely want to be where you are because your presence makes their world feel complete. Researchers often compare the bond between dogs and humans to the attachment between young children and caregivers. So when your dog follows you from room to room, they're really saying, "Where you are feels like home." And finally, there's licking. Your dog licks your hand, your face, maybe even your arm when you least expect it. Most people think it's just affection, and yes, part of it absolutely is. But the meaning goes much deeper than that. From the moment puppies are born, licking becomes part of bonding and emotional connection. Mother dogs lick their puppies constantly for comfort, protection, and care. As dogs grow older, that instinct never fully disappears. So when your dog licks you, they're treating you like family. Scientists also know that physical contact with trusted humans releases oxytocin in dogs, the same bonding chemical connected to love and attachment. To your dog, licking is calming, familiar, emotional. But there's another layer too. Dogs gather information through taste and scent. A single lick can tell them where you've been, what you touched, even how you're feeling physically. Your dog isn't just showing affection, they're reconnecting with the person who means the most to them. By now, you've probably realized something important. Your dog has been communicating with you every single day. Through the stretch, when they feel playful. Through the stare, when they feel connected. Through the paw, the nose nudge, the head tilt, and the way they follow you from room to room. None of these behaviors are random. They are emotional signals from an animal that has built its entire world around you. And maybe the most beautiful part is this. Your dog doesn't care whether you're successful, attractive, rich, or perfect. To them, your presence alone is enough. You are the place where they feel safest, the person they search for when they're anxious, the face they trust more than anything else in their life. That's why understanding these little behaviors matters so much, because once you finally learn to recognize them, you stop seeing your dog as just a pet. You start seeing them as someone who has been loving you silently all along. So the next time your dog stares at you from across the room, pauses beside you, or quietly follows you into another space, don't ignore it. For them, those small moments are not meaningless habits. They are attempts to connect with the person they trust most in the world. Your dog may never speak a single word in your language, but every single day, they are still trying to tell you something. I feel safe with you. I missed you. I need you. I love you. And maybe that's what makes the bond between humans and dogs so powerful. It exists completely without words. Just trust, presence, and thousands of tiny moments that slowly become a lifetime together. If this video helped you understand your dog a little differently today, make sure to subscribe to Pawsmind for more deep dives into canine behavior and psychology. And before you go, leave a comment below telling us which behavior surprised you the most, because your dog has been talking to you all along. Now, you finally know how to listen.